Hey guys, my name is Lynx. Welcome back to Lynx Let's Start. Today we are going to be looking at TNT cannons. These cannons will either look like this, which launches the TNT across, or ones like this, which launches the actual player up into the sky. Both are basically used just for creative mode. However, this TNT launcher can be used for survival for some defensive mechanisms against other players. But the reason so that this one's only for creative is because the amount of TNT that gets propelled you upwards will, if you're in survival, will kill you. So the basic mechanism for a normal TNT cannon such as this is that a few TNT gets flowed down water, and then later, like just before this one explodes, another TNT gets released in front of it, which means these TNT explode and then this one gets launched that way and then it explodes on the floor. I'll show a demonstration of this. So let's say we put two there and then we put one there later. You see how that exploded it after? So obviously this won't work because you'll have to do it manually and it doesn't get launched far enough. So you can build contraptions such as this, which have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 dispensers dropping TNT here. So that's 10 TNT getting dropped here. And then 6 TNT dropped here, which make it so that 6 TNT gets propelled there with the force of 10 TNT pushing it. I'll show you a demonstration of this TNT launcher and then I'll show you some steps to build it. So, you click this button, the 10 get dropped here, they flow down, and then launch those 6 over there. You see the damage it can create? That's why these TNT cannons are very powerful. To make them more powerful, you will only need to add more dispensers and power them at the same time. These ones and then these ones. But so far, I just stuck for this design, which I've just made, with 10 TNT down here and then 6 over there exploding. It creates a massive damage and can be so useful for like defensive mechanisms against enemies in survival. To make this, you'll need a 7 by 8 square with 4 high. The items that you'll need to make this is just a few building blocks, 16 redstone repeaters, just a button of any kind, I prefer wood because it doesn't last as long, dispensers, water bucket, and how many TNT you'll need. You'll need at least 16 to power it once, but you might want to do it more than that. I'm now just going to fly around it so you can hopefully see how I've made it. Feel free to pause the video so you can copy it into your own world. So basically, this button powers these 2 dispensers, then these 2 repeaters power all 4 of these, and this is replicated on the other side, so I'm just going to walk through one side. Then this repeater powers this block, and then these repeaters draw energy from that block and then power this one. These repeaters on both sides power the other 2, so you get all 3 in total for this. And since these are delayed 4, 8, 12 ticks, same as the other side, that means that this one is also another 4, which is 16 ticks later than these TNT that are dropped. So since it's so much later, as I've demonstrated below, these ones get activated first, and then you could see the delay that these repeaters were taking to launch the TNT that way. So all in all, this is a pretty simple design. It might look pretty confusing, but once you know what you need to do, it's not very hard. You basically just need to power these dispensers and then wait a few ticks and then power those. But make sure that the water is stopped, otherwise you'll just have a flow of water and then these TNT won't be launched. You can use a slab to stop the water, but I just used a full block, so these are slightly above those, which means that they get launched up instead of straight across. But you can always tweak that to your situation in your world. Next, onto the player TNT launching machine, which just uses a simple mechanic, which is basically powering all of these dispensers at the same time with one person standing in the middle. I just use a fence post so I can stand on top of it and it will block the water. So you need 1, 2, 3, and 4 water buckets so that all these TNT that gets dispensed all flow into the middle so it can push you into the sky like really high. The more TNT that gets dropped, obviously the higher you go. So if you really want, you can add lots more dispensers on top of here with more TNT, but you need to keep in mind that they all need to be activated at the same time. What I've done is that there's 1 tick delay here, but that's just to make it more powerful. All of these up to here are 2 ticks. This is because that redstone current can only go 15 ticks along here, which stops short right here. So that means that all of these can't be powered by the same current. So I use the repeater to make that current 15 again, which means that is 1 tick. So if I just did that normally and all of them are set to 1 tick, this 3/4 will explode before that one. So my solution to this problem was just add all of these to another tick. That's all the ones that are powered by the first 15. The next is going to be 1 tick behind, so I just left it at 1. So, and to get all the current down to that repeater, I just used a simple trail, which you can modify whatever you want. That's not important. But the important thing is that all these dispensers will fire at the same time and they all go flow to the center. So if you look at the XYZ on the left middle of the screen, you can see my coordinates. The middle coordinate that is going up now, I'm now on 91, that's my level into the sky. So I'm going to be starting on 57.5 in the sky. So to activate it, you just press this button while standing in the middle. All the TNT goes there and explodes. Whoa. I ended up staying at around 750 or so, which is really high. That's just from a few TNT. That is how powerful these ones are. You can use this for like if you're making a creative base, if you want, or if you're making survival. But if you're doing it in survival, you need pretty hefty enchantments to make you survive this. Otherwise, you'll either die from the blast or once you land, fall damage. So I would not recommend putting this in survival, otherwise you'll need to be pretty prepared because the amount of TNT that's forcing you upwards is very, has a lot of impact on you. This time we went up to 807 was our max. So let's fall back down. That is really powerful. There are also all different types of the TNT launchers. Like some people use a longer barrel and more TNT to explode it than actually to propel it. But I just did more TNT to actually force it this way than to actually explode. But for you, if you want to actually recreate this in your world, you might want to put even more TNT that explodes. This is to make a greater impact. So the more TNT here means the further it goes. The more TNT in this section means the bigger the impact. So you can just adjust that to your way in your world. Well, I hope you found this helpful, and if you did, consider subscribing and hit the bell button and like. If you want, you can comment below if you have any other ideas for TNT cannons, or you just have a few improvements you might want to suggest. I will take that into account. Well, thank you for listening. I hope you found this helpful. Thanks. This is Links from Links. Let's start. Bye.